Chapter 10. The sun stands still. Adonizedek was the king of Jerusalem. He heard that Joshua had captured Ai. He found that the city had been set apart to the Lord in a special way to be destroyed. He heard that Joshua had done to Ai and his king the same thing he had done to Jericho and his king. Adonizedek heard about the people of Gibeon and made a peace treaty with Israel. He also found out that they were living among the Israelites. The things he heard alarmed him with his people very much. That's because Gibeon was an important city. It was like one of the royal cities. It was larger than Ai. All his men were good soldiers. So Adonizedek, the king of Jerusalem, made an appeal to Hoham, the king of Hebron. He appealed to Piram, the king of Jarmus. He appealed to Japhia, the king of Lachish. He also made an appeal to Beer, the king of Eglon. Come up and help me attack Gibeon. He said, his people have made peace with Joshua and the Israelites. Then the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmus, Lachish, and Eglon gathered their armies together. Those 5 Amorite kings moved all their troops into position to fight against Gibeon. Then they attacked it. Joshua was in the camp at Gilgal. The people of Gibeon sent a message to him there. They said, "Don't desert us, we'll serve you. Come up to us quickly. Save us, help us. All the Amorite kings from the central hill country have gathered together their armies together to fight against us." So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his whole army. The army included all his best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. I have handed them over to you. No one of them will be able to fight against you and win." Joshua marched all night from Gilgal. He took the Amorite armies by surprise. The Lord threw them into a panic as Israel marched toward them. Then Joshua and the Israelites won a complete victory over them at Gibeon. The Israelites chased them along the road that goes up to Beth Horon. They struck them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. The Amorites tried to escape as Israel marched toward them. They ran down the road from Beth Horon to Azekah. Then the Lord threw large hailstones down on them. The hailstones killed 4 of them. The swords of the Israelites died. So the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel. On that day, Joshua spoke to the Lord while the Israelites were listening. He said, "Sun, stand over Gibeon, and you, moon, stand still over the valley of Ajalon." The sun stood still, the moon stopped. They didn't move again until the nation won the battle over its enemies. You can read it about in the book of Joshua. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky. It didn't go down for about a full day. There has never been a day like before or since. It was a day when the Lord listened to a mere human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Joshua and his whole army returned to camp at Gilgal. Joshua kills the 5 Amorite kings. The 5 Amorite kings had run away. They had hidden in the cave at Makkedah. Joshua was told that the 5 kings had been found. He was also told that that they were hiding in the cave at Makkedah. He said, roll some large rocks up to the opening of the cave. Put some men there to guard it. But keep on going. Chase your enemies. Attack them from behind. Don't let them get back to their cities. The Lord your God has handed them over to you. So Joshua and the men of Israel had complete victory over them. They killed almost every one of them, but a few escaped. They went back to their cities that had high wall around them. And Israel's whole army returned safely to Joshua. He was in the camp at Makkedah. No one in the land dared to say anything against the Israelites. Joshua said, open up the cave. Bring those 5 kings out to me. So Joshua's men brought the kings out of the cave. They were the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon. The men brought them to Joshua. Then he sent for all the men of Israel. He spoke to the army commanders who had come with him. He said, come here, put your feet on the necks of those kings. So they came forward and placed their feet on the necks of the kings. Joshua said to them, don't be afraid, don't lose hope. Be strong and brave. This is what the Lord will do to all the enemies you are fighting to fight. You're going to fight. Oops. Joshua put the 5 kings to death. He stuck a pole through each of their bodies. Then he set the poles up where people could see the bodies. He left them there until evening. At sunset, Joshua ordered his men to take down the bodies. So they took them down from the poles and threw them into the cave where the kings had been hiding. They placed large rocks at the opening of the cave, and the rocks are still there to this day. Campaign against the cities in the south. That day Joshua captured Makkedah. He cut down his people and their king. He totally destroyed everyone in it. He didn't leave anyone alive. He did to the king of Makkedah the same thing he had done to the king of Jericho. Joshua moved on from Makkedah to Libnah. Israel's whole army went with him. They attacked Libnah. The Lord also handed that Midian's king over to Israel. Joshua destroyed the city. He and his men killed everyone in it with their swords. He didn't leave anyone alive there. He did to its king the same thing he had done to the king of Jericho. Joshua moved on from Libnah to Lachish. Israel's whole army went with him. The men took up their battle positions. Then Joshua attacked Lachish. The Lord handed it over to Israel. Joshua captured the city on the 2nd day of the battle. He destroyed the city. He and his men killed everyone in it with their swords. He had done the same thing to Libnah while what was happening. Horam had come up to help Lachish as the king of Gezer, but Joshua won the battle over him and his army. No one was left alive. Joshua moved on from Lachish to Eglon. Israel's whole army went with him. They took up their battle positions. Then they attacked Eglon. They captured it the same day. They totally destroyed everyone in it with their swords. They had done the same thing to Lachish. Joshua went up from Eglon to Hebron. Israel's whole army went with him. Then they attacked Hebron. They captured the city. They destroyed it and its villages. They killed all its people and their king with their swords. They didn't leave anyone alive. They totally destroyed the city and everyone in it. They had done the same thing at Eglon. Joshua turned back and attacked the bear. Israel's whole army went with them. They captured the city. Its king, and its villages. They totally destroyed everyone in the bear with their swords. They didn't leave anyone alive. They did to the bear and its king the same thing. They had done to Libnah and its king. They had also done the same thing to Hebron. So Joshua brought the whole area under his control. That included the central hill country and the Negev desert. It included the western hills and the mountain slopes. It also included all the kings in that whole area. Joshua didn't leave anyone alive. He totally destroyed everyone who breathed it. He did just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had commanded. Joshua brought everyone from Kadesh Barnea together under his control. He did the same thing to everyone from the whole area of Goshen to Gibeon. He won the battle over all those kings and their lands. He did it in one campaign. That's because of the Lord, the God of Israel, who fought for Israel. Then Joshua returned to the camp at Gilgal. Israel's whole army went with him. Did you know how did Joshua conquer Canaan? Chapter 10, Part 40. Joshua's men marched into the middle of Canaan. They fought the kings of the cities in the south. Then they turned to the north. They fought those kings too. Joshua had a good battle plan. People still study it today. Life in Bible times. Defeat the kings. When the Israelites won a battle, Joshua told his army commanders to put their feet on the necks of the enemy kings. This was a sign to show that God and his people were stronger than the enemy kings. The sign also reminded the Israelites that God promised to go with them into battles. He promised that they would win battles against their enemies. Dear God's learned about Joshua chapter 10 today. Today, I believe God will follow us, what we all do, and thank you always. Amen. So I need to say goodbye, so thanks for watching my videos. I hope I see you next time. So I hope see you in chapter 11.